Hello everyone. For this video, I want to explain our first essay. I mentioned this in a previous video, but our first big assignment here is going to be a narrative essay. So, what are we doing with that? It's going to be a personal story that sends a message. Narrative, like story, narrative essay, narrative, like story, and then essay, meaning it also has a thesis. A story kind of with a thesis, a story with a clear message, a clear takeaway. So I'm kind of giving you guys, and you can look at the assignment sheet. I would suggest actually that you maybe have that in front of you right now, posted on Moodle for this week, the narrative essay assignment sheet, and you'll see some instructions in there. I'm gonna try to just explain some of the similar things about it. So I'm kind of giving you the message or the takeaway that your essay is gonna have. It's gonna be something about language being important. So it's going to link up with all of the readings that I'm giving you over the next couple of weeks. We've already done two of them. You have two more this week, and we have maybe one or two more the week after. But all of these essays are going to connect to like reasons why language is important. And when I say important, it's not that it's the most important thing in the world. I'm not delusional. I think material things, but maybe more important, whatever. But it's just that it's not unimportant. If you asked like the average student, like usually when I'm teaching on campus, I'll say, the people in the hallway, if we grabbed one of them and said, how important is language? Is it important? Or like, with what Vershawn Young is saying, like if we said, does dialect get used to oppress people? People might say, I think they would say no, or they wouldn't think it was that important. So I think what we're just saying here is that, hey, like it's kind of important, it's somewhat important, maybe more important than you think. So, yeah, that's kind of going to be the message. You're going to use a personal story, something from your own life, or you can make something up. I would never know. I think it's easier, to draw from your own memory than to sort of completely create things. But whatever you want to do is fine. I'll say also, it doesn't have to be something that like happened to you. It could be something you witnessed, something you saw on TV, just something that happened in the news, something that happened to someone else, whatever. It could be something like that. Any story. You do want to have yourself as kind of the narrator, like the main character. So yeah, telling a story that sends one of these messages about language. So I have four suggested topics that I've given you. If you look at the assignment sheet, and each of these is going to connect with one of the essays that we're going to read. So like the first one, it says unfair treatment. This one connects with the Vershawn Young essay, Should Writers Use Their Own English, where that essay tried to show us how language connects to people being treated unfairly, how people get discriminated against basically because of how they talk, or the language they use or how they write, whatever it is. So any story you have that fits into that of like being looked down on or treated differently in some kind of way because of the way that you talk or the way that you write or seeing it happen to someone else or someone in your family or just a stranger in public, anything like that could fit into this. It could be something like cultural or whatever connected to your background, like people having accents or something like that. Or it could just be like using slang. Like I think there's a lot of I've heard from a lot of students who would talk about not their parents like punishing them if they use slang around them or like yelling at them or whatever, or like teachers making fun of kids for using slang or something like that. Anything like that could also work like this. Anything related to like a job interview or what's considered professional, like how we talked about in the other video, could kind of relate to that topic of unfair treatment. But we'll go through the other topics as we read the more essays. The other topics we have language and culture, talking back, and word choice are the three other ones. So you can see, obviously, the talking back essay that I gave you is going to connect to that topic. The other one, mother tongue, is the one that I think connects to language and culture. And then we're going to look at one about word choice next week. But basically, yeah, again, it's going to be a personal story that sends this sort of message about language. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense right now. I do think that this is a difficult assignment. I do. I think that I like to kind of push people with these assignments, see what we can come up with. But I think it's something that's also going to kind of ask you to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, especially if you're used to like the high school sort of approach of writing essays, like where you write persuasive essays and they're 5 paragraphs or whatever. This is definitely something different, right? Because you have to tell a story. It's a personal story. You're writing in the first person. It's a narrative. So I think it works to kind of I guess my kind of teaching approach is sort of throw people into the deep end, and just sort of see what you can do, hands-on kind of approach that I try to do here. So I know that this is a little bit difficult, maybe a little confusing. I think it's going to make more sense as we talk about more of the readings, and I'm going to have, I'm going to be referencing this essay in all of my videos basically going forward. But yeah, you're going to tell a story that fits into one of those topics that shows us a way that language is important. So other things, some of the requirements that you have here. I think I'm right, but check the assignment sheet. But I think the due dates I put were a rough draft on March 4th, which is I think 2 weeks from this Friday, and then the final version on March 11th. So I am gonna have you guys submit a rough draft. We'll talk more about it when it gets closer. But I don't need those to be the full length. I think I'm looking for 3 pages for this essay. The rough draft can be shorter than that. It can be 1 or 2 pages. Um, I'm gonna give you feedback on your rough draft before you submit the final version. I'll post comments on Moodle. Yeah, 3 pages, like I said. Other things, double spaced, Times New Roman font. Those are just kind of standard formatting things that you're going to want to get used to. Also, things like having a title and indenting your paragraphs. I'll try to post an example of what this looks like, or I'll definitely leave a comment on your essay if you need to change anything. But yeah, you just want to kind of get used to this formatting stuff for future classes and everything. So yeah, we're going to be talking about this assignment a lot. If you have any questions about it right now, you can definitely send me an email or just get in touch, and I'll do my best to explain more. But yeah, more on this coming soon. Narrative essay, first big project, and yeah, we'll discuss it more.